Okay, folks, welcome back. The Thanksgiving Day edition. And we got some stuff here that Ben's got to go back to work on oh, that's true. It's a work day for you guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so we've got some stuff here on the table that I need to move out of the way, including the 2 pounders. I really should be working on the 2 pounder cruise. That's really what I should be working on. But that doesn't really fit with the theme, so I was working on a couple different things last night, including finishing these little guys up. Let's get these lads out of here. Let's stack this stuff up. Man, this stuff doesn't weigh anything. And it's squishy. You don't want to squish it too much. Spackle will probably come off of it. Let's move our Commonwealth ground forces off to the side here. Well, it's funny. I can tell that the first guy that I painted, the outside of his stand is kind of glossy, which means I probably used the Vallejo black, not not this one that's flat, not the cheapo one. And we were working on a Morris yesterday. We're trying to make heads or tails out of this thing. And I think I've come to the conclusion of what's going on here. I think I've come to the conclusion of what's going on. Because it gives you two options for the roof. It gives you this solid roof, and it gives you this one with a, I don't know, moon roof, open top roof. However, there's a couple things that don't make sense. Solid roof makes sense. Put it on there, done. Solid roof. The open top roof, or the semi-open top roof, has this X across it. It looks like it's a reinforcing bar for whatever reason. And it's got like this little tarp cover that's supposed to go on it. However, if you set it on top, it even has the X on there of the frame. Let me get all the chat up. Default to all these things that I always set it to. Should default to that automatically. It doesn't fit in place because it has these two little rails that this sits on that doesn't allow it to sit down on this piece. So it's literally hovering above it, and it doesn't make any sense the way it is. However, if you don't put a roof on it at all, it fits on there perfectly, even with the rails where it's supposed to be. So I'm not sure what the hell's going on here. I don't know what the hell's going on here. But I'm probably going to make my own decision on it. I honestly don't want either one of them to have a solid roof. I like this little tarp thingy on it. So I might just cut this X bracing off. It's just hard to tell if this is going to fit right on the roof with this X bracing off, and I think it will. I think it's specifically formulated. This is just the weirdest thing. It's almost like they built this and they didn't like try it out. And it's not really a gripe against them because I really do like their stuff, but and then the other weird thing is it doesn't have any windows, but the side of this that goes down is showing through the side window, restricting the opening size. Whereas this one does not have that. It's completely flush there. It's completely flush here through the opening. You can see all the way through it. But if you put the other roof on there, you can see that the opening size is restricted. So I'm not really sure what's going on here. And what really throws me off is that it fits on there perfectly without a roof, but there's no interior. So I don't know why you would ever run it like this without this covering, because there's nothing to look at. Well, actually, there's stuff to look at it, and it doesn't represent what's on the real vehicle. So, you know, Plastic Soldier Company is just weird. Just really, really weird with a lot of the stuff that they do. You know, they go through all the effort of engineering this stuff, but then they don't put it on the instructions. Like, this is a very nice piece, right? Whoever decided to cast this thing put some effort in and make this look like a tarp. And they put wrinkles in it and everything. It's beautiful. But then it's not on any of the instructions. And neither is this roof on any of the instructions. And it's not on any of the instructions in 15 millimeter either. As I watched some of the unboxing videos of this particular vehicle in 15, I apparently have the only one in 20 that I saw on YouTube at this moment. At the moment of this time that I could find. Everybody else is on 15. Well, I'm like, all right, well, let me look at the 15 millimeter video, and it's pretty much the same. I mean, only smaller. So it's weird. I don't really want to do a solid roof on either one of them. It's got these little circles up here. It look like there's something's missing. I mean, ideally, probably do one of each, but I think that if I take this X off and then put this over it, it'll fit on there just fine, but I guess I could try it, and if I don't like it, then I screw it up. Then one of the roofs can be solid, and then I have a variety. You know, I don't know. It's just weird. I'm not. That's why I'm kind of like I'm at an impasse with that. Anyhow, first world problems. And I don't dislike them. It's a gripe against them, but they're like my favorite manufacturer still. You know, I don't like their Panzer IIIs. They have a weird turret, but I still love Plastic Soldier Company. You have these weird type things that happen. So, okay, A13. And we'll see who comes on. All right, so the mistake that I made, if you call it a mistake, is that I got so excited about putting all these rivets and the drippings on the rivets, which there's a metric shitload of them on this particular 3D print. And I've already painted the tracks, but I didn't paint the road wheels. So I'm going to paint the road wheels now. I think I didn't paint the road wheels. I'm painting the road wheels now, and then we'll go back to weathering this thing. And then when we're done with weathering, then we'll go in and do all the drippings and stuff like that. Okay? That's what the plan is. That is plan. Let's get a brush of small sizeage. We can go ahead and pull these out. all drip dried out. That one. But that's why I haven't finished that 25 pounder. I'm like, what's going on here? And I haven't had a whole lot of time to think about it. I don't know if it's anything like yesterday. We didn't have a whole lot of people on last night. Everybody's traveling to grandma's house, I guess. I've never really traveled for Thanksgiving. We always had our whole family that lived here with us. I know I'm paying this and it'll probably get covered over anyways, but and always when I paint these wheels, the rubber on the wheels, I'm always wondering, am I wasting my time? And I probably am, but at the end of the day, I know that I painted it. And I'm not wondering if people can tell that I didn't paint it. And it doesn't take that long. I mean, after painting 32 Roman sandals in a row, it really kind of puts everything into perspective. I mean, basically nothing's tedious after that. Okay, now I can move on to the other side. forgot that today's just a regular work day for people outside the United States. Just an old Thursday in November. Last Thursday in November. Happy Thanksgiving, man. Good morning to you, too. I was wondering when some people that had the day off were going to show up. Had kind of a poor showing last night, but it's understandable. People traveling for the holiday and so forth. Really should be working on the crew to the 2-pounders this morning, but that doesn't really fit with the theme now, then, does it? I guess if I'm finished with this thing, I'll allow myself to go over there and work on that. You know, if you hate rivets, this is the wrong tank for you. This makes a Czech 38 seem bald when it comes to rivets. This thing has more rivets than anything else. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm kind of stuck with my Morris tractor. I know you weren't on here when I talked about it. I gotta wait for this paint to dry anyway, so I'll probably bring it up right now. And I still stand by. I like Plastic Soldier Company. I will be buying more of their stuff, but they're really weird about the things that they do. They give you an option for a roof, but it's not on any instructions at all. You know, you can either have a solid roof, or you can have one that has a moon roof and it has this nice little bracing, which is nice, but inside there's nothing to look at. And if there was something to look at, you got to build it because it's like a hollow carcass. So they give you this like little tarp that goes on it that already has the X pattern of like this reinforcing. So it makes sense, like, oh, just line it up and put it down. But it doesn't fit. It's got these two little like channels it sits on. And they don't go with this. It won't fit in there. However, if you take the roof off completely, the channels match there perfectly. So, and it's not on any instructions, and it's not on the 15mm instructions either. It's weird as shit. And I really don't want to build both of them solid, because it's a missed opportunity. I like the little tarp. It's cute. So, I think what I'm going to do is probably remove this X. And when I remove the X, this will probably, because I can't leave it open top anyways. Because I leave it open top, there's nothing to look at. I got to build an interior. I'm not that kind of modeler. Okay, I'm not interested in doing that. But I think I'm going to go ahead and remove the X and put this little tarp over it and hope it fits okay. Because if I don't remove the X and want to put the tarp over it, I got to remove this whole channel, and that's a bigger pain. And if I screw it up, I guess that one will have a solid top. You've been up just working on your Panzer II. Well, I woke up about an hour ago and then couldn't go to sleep, but I tried to go to sleep a little more than an hour ago, like at 4:20 or something like that. And then I tried to go back to bed and I ended up surfing. And And then like 4:45, I'm like, well, it's time to go. You have breakfast. So I had breakfast, and I was surfing around a little bit, and in my surfing, I came across this one guy who has these extremely great posts on a site that I'm a member of, and I've never seen his. I swear I've never seen his post before. It's all North African stuff. And one of the questions he asks is about the African core numerals that he had asked, I guess, a while ago. Maybe I wasn't a member of that group before, but I'm gonna do a video on it. So I had a second wind, and I'm like, all right, let me try looking at stuff on the internet to fall asleep, which is usually what happens. And it didn't. It woke me up. But I'm pretty convinced the correlation between the 5th Light Division and the 21st Panzer Division versus the 15th Panzer and the numerals on the side. So unfortunately, none of the, if I want to be accurate, none of the Africa Corps tanks have the numbering system I prefer. So I could just do what I want, which I'm not going to. Or, or do 15th Panzer. Because I'm not putting numbers over the doors. If I put the numbers over the doors, I got to hand paint them. And a lot of the German markings are actually hand painted. They look like they're stencils, but they're not. When you look close, they're hand painted carefully, but they're still hand painted. There's a shot where the 5th Light Division is unloading in Tripoli, and you have all these Panzer IVs and stuff, and they've got these big numbers on the back of the turret, outlined in white, just outlined white numbers. All of those are hand painted because you look at them like the 8s don't look exactly the same. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool because I can at least get that close. I can make mine look as good as those. I can't paint and they look like a stencil. I can get close, but I can get them to look like somebody who hand painted them carefully. But I don't like the big numbers. But if I had to paint them over the doors and stuff on the side of the turret, I could do it, but we got to hand paint it. Because I don't want that center decal to get smaller. So, anyhow, but that's the that's why I stopped working on the 25 pounder, is because of this issue, and it's not in the 15. I've watched several people do unboxings and builds on YouTube. They're all in 15s except mine. Mine's the only one that has a 20 millimeter video. So the 15 millimeter video is a little bit different. The windows are solid on that one, which I would have been fine if this was solid as well, because otherwise I got to build 2 dudes on a date, and that's why I stopped working on it. It's not disappointing. I'm just kind of confused. Like, what's wrong with you folks? But it seems like every plastic soldier company vehicle has something like that. Almost like the people that made the molds and the people that marketed it are like arch enemies or something. They're not in cahoots with each other. What's going to be part of the upcoming? That's going to be part of my morning research. You decide what I'm putting on the turret of the Panzer II. Well, either a single numeral or 3, or a letter if it's a regimental vehicle, or a battalion vehicle. So it's either a Roman numeral or an R or a single digit or 3 digits or whatever you want, My preference of numerals of all kinds on a gray vehicle is definitely yellow and small. Small yellow numbers look the best. It just adds another level on it. Okay. So back to these folks. All right, so the colors that end up wafting onto this, because we painted this in Portland stone as the base, is going to be, we're going to skip this one. We're going to skip green ochre, which is one of the base colors on the stand. We're going to use dark sand, which is going to be almost the same color as this, and pale sand. And that should get us where we need to go. And did we already do that with this guy as well? I think so, to some degree. And we're going to go light. We don't want to, I don't mind this paint scheme getting scuffed up a little bit, but we need to tell that there's a difference there. And yeah, I already painted over it a little bit, even with the airbrush. It's just, there's not that much of a color difference between that one and the base color. It's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. Might go with an R, yeah. Nothing wrong with that. It's probably a good choice. But I gotta do some more research on it before. I still got a ways to do the aftercore. And there might be some new information that comes out 10 years from now that whatever I come up with is wrong, but you got to make the best decisions you can with the information that's available now. And I might actually find out that what I'm doing here is a waste of time and doesn't look that different. It's possible. And I mean with the weathering this similar. Like, it's already a light color, so you can only go so much. You can't make it any lighter than this. So there's only so much you can do. But I need my vehicles to be identified differently, because when you pull the chit, driver of, Panzer 3 number whatever, you need to be able to identify which Panzer 3 it is. You can't have them all that have, if it's 6 company and they all have a 6 on them, they got to have the smaller number somewhere else. So I've seen that. All of my vehicles, if they have a big number, that's likely what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the 15th motif. It's not my preference, but it's my preference between the two. And the two choices, that's the better one, as far as I'm concerned. We're going to put the small number somewhere else on the hull, like I've seen it. Because I do need to identify them. Yeah, but I watched another, after I disconnected last night, I ended up watching more of the Crusader thing. Man, that battle just never ends. Just when you think, oh, this video's about over with, it's like, nope, there's still like 2 hours or 3 hours or something left of it. The epic video. Yeah, but it seems like the biggest cock up of that whole battle is Pete on her. Like, what the hell, dude? And both sides have made bad decisions. in some ways equally so. But man, that guy not moving. I mean, hell, even the Italians freaking finally, once the Italians got moving, they're like, they're actually going places. And Pinar is just trying to go like 8 kilometers, over a week. Have I researched the part where the New Zealanders get trounced? That's about where I'm at right now. I don't know about them. They're not getting trounced right now. They're giving as good as they're getting. The Panzers are really weak at this point. I think it was talking about the 21st Panzer has like 12 tanks or something like that. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Yeah, Dash to the Wire was a big fuck up. But I wasn't one of these people that thought extremely highly of Rommel. I didn't say he sucked. I don't think really highly of him. He's just too moody, even before that. Take too many chances. But just about everybody's made bad calls in the whole thing. And a lot of it is just like, and there's got to be some scenario where a couple supply columns bump into each other. Like a couple of vehicles, a couple of lines of supply trucks, German, a couple supply trucks, Allied, they just bump into each other and like, oh, like they're not supposed to be there because, man, there's parts where the supply lines to resupply one group, they've got to go right in front of the other one. And that actually happened in one of the things he was talking about, but I'm sure it happened more than once. And once we put the decals on this, or we paint the decals, I'm probably going to have to do this process again, just over on the decal part. But I don't want to get sucked into that just yet. Okay, so this is looking better. Well, it wasn't finished. It wasn't like, man, I wasn't happy with how it turned out. I hadn't finished it yet. Same thing, Gazala, huh? Everybody making bad decisions. Yeah, there's just like for an environment that seems to be really open, there's a lot of problems spotting the enemy. Gazala's got more minefield stuff, though, doesn't it? Just like, Alamein is just minefield galore. And minefields, honestly, don't make very good for war games. But it does make you use those dorks that have that mine the metal detector thing, the metal detector get up. I don't know that this needs more than that. Because we're going to put some mild streaking on it. I've been enjoying doing that. Did it on the 2-pounders and it looks pretty good. See if I can. I did take a close photo, even though it's not great. It's just too damn bright in here. Here's a close up of a 2-pounder. And it looks almost white because of this light reflecting back the brightness. I'm not 100% sold on the foxholes, but we're going to roll with them. It's certainly the right color. But man, you produce stuff like that, you go through a lot of tufts, and each one doesn't have that many, but each one of those foxholes has probably the tufts of like 2 or 3 soldiers. So like, man, I'm putting a dent on it. It's about half of last night's after I finished. Didn't got in line till almost 9. Oh man, I thought you weren't going to show up at all. Yeah, I started too early. So by the time I stopped, it felt like it was 11. I started way too early. I was the last one to leave work, and I left at 3:30. Everybody, I guess, had a drinking problem they needed to get to. Yeah, I got to the point in the battle where Ravenstein gets captured, which I didn't know that. I didn't know he was the first German general captured. I said that pretty much happened at a time period where the Germans were undefeated. They really had, the Bismarck had sank. They didn't take over Britain. That's it. That's about the only thing that hasn't gone their way. Norway wasn't a shoe in. It wasn't a given. But other than that, everything's pretty much gone the Germans' way up to that point. I mean, they hadn't gotten pushed out of Moscow yet. They're on the outskirts still. All right, I think that's enough of that. Now we're going to take this pale sand, which I'm probably going to have to go buy another bottle of because I'm using it a lot, which is nice. This is a color I really hadn't used at all, but it's extremely dry. I don't really know what's going on in there. I feel like it's mostly... Oh, there's a big turd coming. Okay, well, maybe there's hope after all. And hopefully it didn't change this color much. We've reformulated this. Thanks, pal. So you weren't on, so I wasn't able to talk to you about this. But I was like, man, there's got to be a better way to get a hold of these S model. Well, first of all, nobody makes the 3D Crusaders. Crusaders or Crusader ones, or he doesn't have access to them. So I'm like, all right, well, let's see what other options there are, right? Because there was a life before Chad. I know it's hard to believe, but there was. And it looks like the S model one's the way to go. Other than buying them on eBay, which the shipping time really ticks me off, how long it takes them. Have you ordered stuff from AliExpress before? I've heard that it's relatively safe. But man, they tack on a lot for shipping for each model. Each model's cheap, but it's like $11 shipping for each one. And they don't combine shipping. So, if it had been a steal, I would have already ordered them. But I'm having my doubts about, oh yeah, that's what this needed right here. When you grind across the desert, man, it turns things into a powder. Not everywhere, but is this for the Jeep with the 37? No, the Crusaders. No, the Jeep for the 37 takes me in a different direction. I'm going to stay with Operation Crusader for the time being. So the S model Crusaders, which apparently there's two models of. There's one that has a close support howitzer, and then the other one that's just the standard A15, which you can build as a Mark 1 or a Mark 2 Crusader. You can do either one. Gives you decals for 5 vehicles. You probably get more if you cut it up and mix up the numbers. But as far as I can tell, the counter scheme, this, wasn't really prevalent on the Crusaders. There's probably examples of them, but that it was done on, but I haven't seen one. So my Crusaders are probably going to be either Portland stone overall or light stone or both. But they are going to have arms of service markings, even though those weren't really prevalent either. It looks nice. I like the arms of service markings a lot. I haven't ordered anything from China, but my wife, daughter do all the time, sometimes slow, but very reliable thus far. Okay, have you done it through AliExpress? Because I'm not ordering through, I don't even know if it's available through Temu, but I'm not going to order it through Temu. That's highly suspect. You got to use their app, and it just, I don't even know if they carry S model. I know that the AliExpress does, but at the price difference, I'm just going to order them from eBay. It gives me a little bit more control. The price difference is the same by the time you're done with it. The shipping time supposedly on the AliExpress is better, but who knows? The last time I ordered something from when I got the Panzer IIs from the guys that were carrying the S model stuff in California, it's called X Freeze something or whatever was the vendor, and they were really good. They got it to me quicker than it said it was going to, so they must have had it in the warehouse, or I'm sure they have a warehouse in LA or something like that, somewhere on the West Coast. As a matter of fact, that's what they said they were from. They were from California or something like that, but I'm not ordering any S model Panzer IIs. Those will come from Chad. He makes them. It'll come from him. Uh-oh. I felt something pop. That got loose. Okay, let's be careful. Man, we don't need to repair shit. Should have taken a before and after, but I do that, and then you can't tell the difference in the photos unless I go outside. And honestly, don't think about going outside much for this. I had nosy neighbors too. What you doing over there? Not so much, but I do have nosy neighbors. They're retired people with nothing to do. The Panzer II I got from Chad is fantastic. I've got the Panzer Gray down. Going to begin the washing and maybe dry brushing. It depends on how long the wash takes to fully dry. Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about a wash. But it does add another layer of depth, and it's well worth it. Did you add any blue to the Panzer Gray, or you just rolled with it? I mean, it doesn't need it. Just one of those things that you know you did it if that's the direction you want to go into. Really wish that had the Beza machine gun. I could buy them and convert them, but at some point you just have to say, you know what, it's good enough for me. There's one guy that was converting one of these into the version that I want, which is basically this other one with a Beza. That's it. And he was hand putting all these rivets on there. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I'd rather do Zimmer it than putting rivets on. That's freaking crazy. That's freaking crazy. Okay, now I feel like it looks significantly different than when I started. And it could just be an optical delusion. It could just be an optical delusion, but I feel like it looks significantly different. Like it smoothed everything out. Well, that's good, because I don't want to be demoralized. Now, dripping time. Actually, let me look at my pictures that I did. I don't have a whole lot of stuff on this one. The one from Bronco Models is absolutely gorgeous. The paint scheme is, it's a bit over the top. It's a bit three-ring circus, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I did save it on here, didn't I? It's the one from Bronco Models. Oh wait, we weren't doing that one. We were doing this one. Oh no, that is the one from... Man, I'm losing my freaking mind. Okay, and it's an HQ vehicle. I'm not building one as an HQ vehicle. Sorry about that. I do have Desert Rat vehicle decals, don't I? Let me go pull that. And I'm not talking about the ones that came with my little truck. Let's see. Where could I put them? This is where they should be, and this is where they are. Okay. Well, the fact that they don't make arm of service markings for this that I need, the color that I need, is probably a blessing. That means I don't have to wait for them. Yeah, I think these are the Alaran ones. Man, I gotta replace these. I gotta replace my trifocals or bifocals or whatever the hell they are. Focals, whatever focals. Okay, this has the 76, which are the ones for the for the artillery piece. So that's good. Oh, you know what? I didn't check to see if Alaran makes... Well, how many desert rat symbols do I have? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. And I bet I have another 6 here. Yeah, they're kind of small a little bit. Let me go take a look and see if Alaran doesn't make... They're saying put it down here, which is in between rivets. Bloody hell. And then 62. Is there a 62 here? There is, but I may not put 62 on it because 62 may not jive with that one that I need. But every single, I spent probably 20 minutes looking at 15th Panzer Division. Pictures of 15th Panzer Division. Every single time it came up, it was a single digit. So I'm pretty convinced that's the case. Now, I haven't found out when it's black, when it's red. But I'm pretty comfortable making that assertion at this point. And same thing with the numbers over the sides of stuff on 21st. If you want to do 21st, put big numbers over the side. What was I going to look at? Oh, files, download here, just once, not now. Just open the damn file. You know, why wouldn't I have permission to my own thing? Jeez, man. Okay. Got it. Okay, so this is going to be... The mixed one is definitely the 7th. 7th definitely had mixed vehicles. We need 65s for that. So does this come with 65s? It does not have 65s. Okay. Now, I'm going to go look at Alaran, and I hope they don't make them. Because that gives me the freedom to just paint them. I know, I could just paint them anyways, but... Alaran decals. And I wish their system was a little bit better than just scroll till I find it. French 1940, 1940. There's a lot of French 1940 symbols. These guys have a nice Italian set too. Yeah, look at this set for Italian North Africa. They got a lot of stuff, including license plates and stuff. That's really nice. Japanese armor markings. Those are so simple, you can paint those yourself. Like a whole set for Dicker Max and Stir Aim Emil. Like, really? German Kettenkrad markings. I don't really like Kettenkrads. They're weird. 1940 Expeditionary Force. Okay, Armor Divisions 44, 45. 79th Armor. Churchill tank markings. BEF. 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 K and WT markings. Valentine tank markings. Valentine Tank Markings Part 2. British North Africa AFV Arms of Service. Shit. They make them. Sons of bitches. They are sometimes a little bit off of register. Out of register. I'm gonna take a picture of this. A screenshot of that. They have V marking unit insignia. Yeah, you need a whole lot more desert rats than are there. Recognition stripes, like hell, I can paint those myself. Okay, I'm not gonna order these. I'm not gonna order the symbols on the turrets in different colors. I can paint those. Somebody might not want to paint them, but I can paint them. And I've never seen bridge symbols on North African vehicles on pictures. You know, the little yellow circles. Gonna be a bad day for the Thanksgiving parade. Oh yeah, you're gonna have trouble moving around in that city. I forget that's in here. Yeah, I'll be watching that at 9. Or they'll have it on, so I gotta turn off my feed. I wish it was a Thanksgiving Day parade without the commentary. My favorite float's always the Pillsbury Doughboy. That fucker's cute. That guy's really, really cute. I wonder how soon before they have to get rid of him because he's considered a white power symbol. All right, so what did we decide? Hold on. I needed to look at this drawing. I got pulled in too many different directions. I pulled myself in too many different directions. If this particular Bronco model thing is for, because I think there's a problem here. If I look at this Broncos model, God, why is it my stomach is just in concert mode in these mornings? That's never the case. You would think if I was like empty, but like, you know, it gets fed. So I was on Facebook the other day. You might get a kick out of this. And they're always trying to push you to use this with AI and use this with AI. And it gave you a suggestion. This is how it came up. Ask Meta AI to imagine anything. Imagine New York City in watercolor. And I looked at this, and it's actually really, really beautiful. Let me just zoom in on the photo of it, of what it is. It's really beautiful. Like, I like the style that's done in. So then I'm like, all right, so I entered the same thing. And look what I got. And this is the problem with AI. You got the Empire State Building, right? You got a bridge that cuts right in front of the Empire State Building. I don't think they got a permit to put that in there. And then what else? You got these people that are walking on the sidewalk here on the right. And then the roadway, there's people walking on the roadway. And then the cars on the other side are like parked on the sidewalk. It's like, well, it must be trash day, so they gotta move their cars onto the sidewalk. But the style it's done is gorgeous. I absolutely love this gorgeous style. But you got a building there. It's next to the Empire State Building. It reminds me of the Sears Tower, a shorter Sears Tower. It's not, I've been to New York. You're not going to have a bridge that cuts out in front of it. It's just, that's the problem with AI. It might have all the right stuff, but it'll have the wrong stuff in the wrong order. Oh, man. Where's that Bronco model thing? Let me see if I can find it again. I found it relatively easy. Here it is. Okay, this one. And this is supposedly at, and that's what I based this one on Operation Crusader. But it's an HQ vehicle. Actually, I should probably just go to ScaleMates, because I'm ready to put like the arms of service at this point. ScaleMates, A13 Bronco. And it's a beautiful box art. Check this out. This thing's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous vehicle. I mean, it's a circus. Like, that thing's not gonna camouflage with all those red stripes and stuff. But that's an HQ vehicle, so I guess they wanted to know. It's like, keep moving on. Don't be a penar and stop. Stop being a penar. Okay, so apparently this particular vehicle, and I'm gonna pull the instructions on it down again. Yeah, here's somebody's version of it. It looks pretty nice. The only thing it's missing is it does not have black lighting. So it looks great, but you get farther away, it's going to look like a blur. That's what I try to avoid. That's my wargamey thing that I put on there. I do the panel lining so that you can see it at a distance. Now that looks more like a real vehicle than what I'm going to create, but still, it's a war game thing. So let's get where's the download here for the instructions? Download again, yes, because I don't want to find it on my phone just once. Yes, I clutter my phone with a bunch of files. It's absolutely gorgeous paint scheme. That's why I said the Afrocore ain't got shit on these British tanks. They're beautiful. Okay, so this one was apparently 2nd Royal Tank Regiment, 7th Armored Brigade, 7th Armored Division, Egypt, November 1941. Okay, so 2nd Royal Tank Regiment, 7th Armored Brigade, and this has arms of service 62, supposedly. Okay, the 2nd RTR, according to this chart, would have 68 on the number, not 62. So I don't know what to think. I'm going to go with these numbers. It ultimately won't matter to anybody other than me. So as long as I'm happy with it, and I don't want it to be an HQ vehicle anyways. And I'm going to build the Queen's Hussars or whatever the hell they're called. What are they called? Queen's Own Hussars. Which are 65 according to this. With red numbers. Now it is interesting. It is interesting that the 2nd Royal Tank Regiment, here it says 68 on it. Right? But according to this, it is the 2nd Armored Regiment. And it has yellow numbers. It would have yellow markings on it. And the decal for HQ has yellow markings. So, there's some stuff there. And it looks like the marking's up here, so I'll probably put the marking up there as well. And it looks like the tank number's underneath it, which I may or may not put on it. It's in black anyways, you can hardly see it. Okay, so that's an HQ vehicle, and it is wild and over the top with those symbols. I'm not going to make mine an HQ vehicle. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put those stripes on the turret. I am going to put the stripes on the turret. I am going to put I don't think I'm going to put the stripes here on the maybe I will. Maybe I will. It looks wild. It looks wild. Let's just jump in. Let's just jump in with both feet. That's what we're here for, right? Do I have any water laying around here? Because I'm lazy and I don't want to get up and get it. Let's go ahead and flush this and bring some new water. I'll be right back. But here's the interesting thing. Both of these look like they go together, like color-wise. So that's a good sign. I better not do that just yet, because one thing I have to do is I need to clear coat this. Put one over here on the fender. And then I really want to put it over on the fender here, but it'd be over here if I did it. put it in both areas, and then I can decide which way I'm going to go with it. Yeah, there's definitely some variations. But it looks like even on this other one, you know, look at the number that they used. I mean, that looks hand painted. So I don't have a problem hand painting that. I really like that second armor division symbol with a knight, but man, those guys weren't around very long. They showed up in early 41 and left in early 41. Got sent out to Greece to their demise. The internet feed keeps cutting out for some reason this morning. Might be on my end. Nope. According to my end, I've got like 50. There's nothing I can do about it. It was terrible last night. Terrible. Like I tried to load a freaking game or something, and it was just absolutely terrible. And then I went 11 hours with no issues. So I mentioned TMU and it went to shit. Just thought I'd mention that. All right, so we got this Arms of Service marking 62. That's underneath where that light. So I guess let's do that first. And whatever green I picked here was like, nailed it. Black green, that's too dark. I think it was this intermediate green, and then we just added more black to it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why the internet becomes that way. It depends on how many people are online. I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. I don't have the set to be able to solve that issue. I just don't. And 65 is what we're going to want to do. Okay, with red numbers. Okay. Yeah, if this was the HQ of that particular of that brigade, it'd have 49 on it. But then you have to worry about, oh, that's so and so's tank. Like, no, it's just some random Chad. Oh shit. I'm glad I paid attention to this. These are not individual decals. Wow, that would have been a disaster. That would have been a major problem. We need to do this on a hard surface. This is why it takes so long to do stuff. You think, oh, it's just simple to do that. No, you want to do it right, it's going to take a little while. that's without me losing shit. There it is. The whole internet thing is so frustrating, especially when I have issues putting up information I think is pretty good, and then you have people that have these asinine videos on TikTok or whatever, and they don't have any connection problems. Like, look, you're just being a talentless little dick. So I don't really know what causes it. I know that sometimes it's foolproof, other times it's just a total bitch. I get it if it was like bad weather. We don't have any bad weather at all. So it's outside my skill set to be able to figure that out. I have too much water in here. Luckily, I know exactly where to put it. That's not my skill set. All right, so we got a little desert rat, our little Jerboa. Hey, Jerboa. I don't know if these are the best decals out there. They're not. The microscale. If microscale makes it, get the microscale ones. Microscale are in my opinion, the best ones out there. Some of the other ones that come with kits aren't bad. But aftermarket microscale have been the best ones. But they're really limited on what they do. We can remove this. There's no decal happening on the turret. I don't know that the microset makes that much of a difference. The gloss coat is what makes the biggest difference. Of everything decal wise, it's the gloss coat is the one that makes the most difference. I mean, if it was a non-smooth surface, yeah, some of the things may make a difference, but not on a smooth surface. Like the microsaw worked really well, going around that. Those details on the turret of the Panzer IV, but that's kind of unusual to even be doing that. How far are we away from that plate? About like that. put some microsol on there because it's, you got to go over those damn rivets. And the other one is back over here. Relatively towards the bottom of it. About right there. Only thing I hate about decals is you have those little bits of the paper that are left over. You know, that's very, very smooth. Where's the other one? All right. We need to do something that gives us maximum effect here. So let's go ahead and, oh, we already got the green? Okay, cool. The green is underneath this box. So let's get some water that's handy. This isn't the green I want. That's not it either. Where is it? Where did it go? Is it this one? Yes. Thank you. You're gonna be like that. This is the kind of shit I need to do. Where's my notepad? One of my millions of notepads. They were sitting here in a stack right here. No. Paper towel will have to do. Pale sand, English uniform, messy ass fucking handwriting. I don't normally have messy handwriting. And deep green. I don't know why this is like really low and watery, but those are all set to be rebought. What the hell is going on here? Why is everything so difficult sometimes? Just go back where you were. See if this makes a difference. If not, I just pulled some out, so I should be good for this one anyways. Again, this was probably one of these colors I got from Brookhurst Hobbies. It was probably sitting on their shelf a long time. And of course, I bought this 20 years ago, so that doesn't help either. Yeah, there's like a solid turd in there. There we go. Still buying another one. Whenever I get around to it. Not today. That's one of them stores that are closed. Pussyfoot's Paradise. There we go. I thought it was this color. I thought it looks like it, but this is actually very dull green, intermediate green. I just don't like thinning airbrush paint to airbrush. I don't mind thinning to paint. I'm used to it. And it doesn't make a mess. It almost seems like this arms of service marking is just a little bit bigger than the divisional marking, which is good because this divisional marking happens to be a little on the small side. I don't know what causes the internet to sometimes act that weird. I don't do anything different. It's too much work to do anything different. And if it works one time, why would you screw with it? I'm not one of those people. Something works, don't screw with it. There's enough things you have to fix. Yeah, they started the, what do you call that stuff? The Black Friday stuff a lot sooner this year than any other year. Though, I don't need anything, so. Now I don't even go to stores. I remember when my daughter was little, like, oh, we got to get to Toys R Us or whatever because they have a whatever. And I'm like, you wait in these lines. I mean, we didn't wait in line before the store opened. The store opened, and if you missed it, you missed it. But we'd still go in like at midnight or something like that. Yeah, I don't do that stuff anymore. There's no. None of those deals to be had. Nothing we need that badly. Let's not get confused with the 62. We're not doing 62. We're doing 65. Stop with the reviews. I don't give a shit about giving you my review. Do you like using Excel? No, I hate it. I've only been using it for 40 years. Or however long it's been. Well, I know with the 6th Royal, I'm going to end up doing C Company more or less, and that is a circle. So that's going to be a bunch of C names. So the question is, what name do we want this one? The 810s will end up being the same as this one. I think we'll do this as A Company. A bunch of A names. was reading about that 6th Royal Tank Regiment diary. Where they took the airfield originally. Those guys have blue markings, all in Crusaders. I'm thinking in my head, all right, what am I going to call my Crusaders? Right? They're not going to have any paint schemes on them. They're going to just be plain. What are we going to call the Crusaders? It's names that start with a C. Cock up. Oh, it's a bit of a cock up this morning. Let's do the easy one first. The one that has no rivets in the way. Not much of a bend in that 6. Well, that looks pretty freaking good. I'm pretty happy with that. I like doing the gray because if there's any touch-up I gotta do, we have 65 on the front too. The internet run everybody off? Maybe. Now I saw some decals that led me to believe, and I don't know if this was uniform or not, but the color of the squadron, whether it was red, yellow, or blue, was on the base of the plate where the name went, and then the name was written in white or something like that. don't think we're going to do that. I think we're going to do it the same way that we did that Matilda. I'm gonna leave that as is. All right, now the fun shit. That's the stripes. Okay, we're gonna start with light gray, and I always like making my own grays for this. I don't know why, just always done it. Have it. And this is relatively big. This is relatively big. But it goes to that little line there. We're going to move it inside the rivets a little bit, outside the rivets a little bit. That's the area it's going to encompass, that square, like so. Let's go ahead and fill this in. Okay, so that's the area that's going to encompass. And likewise, if we go over here, got the same kind of situation. bigger than that, a little bit bigger than that. Outside that line, just under the rivets, that needs to be a little bit bigger there. It seems to be about right. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put the red in the center and then do the whites on either side after we have the red in place. Thought it would catch you in the act. That's right. Oh, zip it. Okay. And apparently on the back of this vehicle, there's also some flags back here. Now, I don't know if this is just the headquarters vehicle that's all like a traveling circus, but I don't know, I like it. So all this is white. It's actually all the way to, and the red will end up being like this. And the other one will end up being like so. So this area is white as well. I don't know if I'm going to do the front of the fenders. The front of the fenders is a little freaking loud. That's really, really loud area. So we're going to leave that for last. So we're going to come in here. Let's just give this a bottom coat of this light gray. And then same thing on this other side. Because we don't want a headquarters vehicle. Then you're going to worry about, oh, that's not Lieutenant Poppycock's, you know. That's not how it was painted. Major Poppycock. We're going to go ahead and do this one first. We're going to weather over this and we're going to do other stuff. So we just split this in thirds. It seems like the front of this goes about right here. About right here. And I like using this paint watered down at this point, because if you got to adjust where it's going to start and where it's going to stop, it's nice having something that's not going to show brush strokes. Okay. And we'll we'll do the same thing on the other side. Oh. Yeah, this is actually pretty delicate. But it was sitting in the wrong damn place. Force feed it. Okay, and then the other one runs from there to there. Major poppycock. What's that guy's problem? He's a major poppycock. What? No, that's what his name is. Alright, and then we're going to get red. Now, and then we'll bring those colors up. And that's where we're really going to get an idea what this thing's going to look like when you've got that zaniness on there. I don't want to use this one. I don't think. It doesn't make that much of a difference. It doesn't make that much of a difference. I've got 3. Scarlet. This is the one I want to use. Vermilion. It's going to look different when we weather over it anyways. Ben, I'm painting your people. I was watching this video this morning, and it came across, and it was some video, and some guy in the UK made some comment like, it was like in a museum that I didn't even know existed in Massachusetts about tanks. And some guy made a comment, oh, I'm surprised with being American Museum they didn't say that everything American is good and everything that wasn't American was a piece of crap. And I'm like, who goes around saying stuff like that? The only person I remember going around saying stuff like that was R.E. Ermey when he did that, whatever his show it was where he drove around. He started off driving around in the Jeep. And that guy, he definitely drank the Marine Corps Kool-Aid. I'm not trying to knock Marine Corps people down. I'm just saying there's some people that just, for whatever reason, are by it. Now, that's probably his shtick or whatever, but anyways. Yeah, he was like, I don't like it because I ain't American kind of thing. And I really didn't like his show because of that. God, what was that? 20 years ago when the show was on? Something like that. But people don't go around and think the U.S. won the World War II all by themselves. You know? Guys trying to start an argument where there isn't any. Sure, there's people like that don't make any sense, but, same thing, the Russians chime in, oh, it wouldn't have been without Russia, it wouldn't have won, that kind of stuff. I don't think there's anybody in museums that says, oh, British stuff is a piece of crap. Well, some British stuff was a piece of crap, and some American stuff was a piece of crap, and some German stuff was a piece of crap. I don't think there's any nation, every single thing that they touched in the Second World War was great. There was mistakes and, and same thing as, the German panzers are much superior to everything. Everything's got a downside. Everything has a downside. And I don't build things based on how badass they are. I build things because I like them. And these A13s look cool. I don't care if they weren't the best things since sliced bread. I like them. And I'm certainly not one of those people. I'm not one of those people. Oh, it's not American. It's a piece of, there's lots of stuff that's American I don't like. And there's lots of stuff that I do. You know, like I'm not a Sherman Take hater, but you know. Okay, let's bring the white up to the same level. Go back to the red. Just by going back and forth, you can kind of make sure that those things are the right size. You can't help but doing that. But you got to thin this paint down, or you're going to end up with some really thick paint in some of these places. There we go. Now we're starting to get what we're looking for. And then we'll weather over that ever so slightly. Obviously, we don't have any black lining or any rusty or any drippings, as I like to call them. I'm gonna have to use a little boy's room right now. That's what the front of that looks like. And the lighting is just not well suited for the. And we'll bring up the red a little bit more. Can't bring up the white anymore. That's as high as it goes. So we're gonna have the same stripes here on the side of the turret. Be right back. We got people up early today, so I do not know what that means, but we'll try to go on here as long as we can. Yeah, it doesn't look like much right now because it doesn't have any of the black lining, but trust the process. Always trust the process. It's proven. Yeah, like I can't tell whether I even like that right now. I'm not going to do the front fenders. It's way over the top. That's like a freaking circus. And it's fine if it was going to be a command vehicle, but it's not going to be. I said, that's not Alistair McGillicuddy's tank, or, you know, what have you. That's not what it looked like. You know, you're one of these tank nerd burglars on here that knows everything. If you're more nerdy about tanks than me, then you got issues. You got issues. You need to go seek help. Go see a specialist. We're going to create a special specialist just for you. All right, back to the red on the turret here. I don't know that I'm going to put any turret markings on the back. And again, that was a headquarters vehicle, so it's a bit extreme. You're back. I didn't know you left. I didn't know you left. I was giving you so much information. You left me hanging. The same thing on the other side. You missed my words of wisdom. I said, if you're more anal retentive about tanks than me, then you got problems. Go seek help. Now, I don't know how the squadrons with the yellow markings would work. That's just not going to stand out really well. So luckily, I think I can pretty much avoid those. Tank regiments. The squadrons have the symbols. You know, part of me wants to take some of my gray vehicles and Africa core them up, but I don't think I'm going to. I don't think I'm going to. So, dang, I'll have to watch later. I'm not. I'm not more, but close to your level. Well, there's just some things that don't interest me. I mean, I can't be interested in everything. But markings is one of those things that interests me. It's the heraldry equivalent of tanks. You know, and sometimes you just have to make. Sometimes you have to make things up. Like, I'm not interested in buying a tank model and like, okay, let's find everything wrong with it and put the same. No, that's a losing proposition. But like I said, I'm more interested in painting it correctly. Or the right colors. There's this guy that did this article about, I saw this morning, about using the correct colors for Italian tanks. And I'm reading this and I go, oh, I'm probably not going to like what this is. I'm probably going to have to, it's going to make me rethink everything. And at the end of the day, it's like, oh, he ended up going with the Vallejo green ochre for the base color, which is what I did, you know. But, you know, I'll go with like suggestions and like look at it, and if it looks okay, that'll work with it, you know. The paints are going to fade and stuff like that. Like this light green, I'm not buying it too much, but that's the official color, and I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, does it make good camouflage? Yeah, it probably does make good camouflage. You know, so I think it'll end up looking good in the end. I think it'll end up looking good in the end. So. And I may not repaint this. I will renumber it. Oh, it's got a blue squadron. Well, we'll have to I don't know what we're gonna do with it. You know, but I'm not gonna worry about it right now. It's finished and it's usable. And I don't like it as much as this print. I like this print better. Although they're close to the same size, but this turret is a lot roomier. The turret's got more detail on it. I'd imagine it's probably really easy to screw one of these up, because I think all of the models come up in 1/56 scale. So you rescale it, and it's rescaled wrong. It didn't take long for things to get out of whack, but you know, if you get all of your vehicles from the same manufacturer, it doesn't really matter. All the Panzer IIIs will look the same. So you can't worry about everything at the same time all the time. Like, you need to unclench a little bit. But I don't think I'm going to take my two Panzer 4Ds and turn them into the desert one. Although they do need to be black lined. And they're actually the thing I'm probably the most proud of, only because I had to make the modifications myself. gonna be loud behind me. There's cooking and shit going on, so. You gotta do all the cooking today, Marcus, or are you going somewhere else, or? Gonna have Burger King for Thanksgiving. Maybe you could have traditional Asian food for for Thanksgiving. We're not having traditional Thanksgiving food for Christmas for Thanksgiving, and I'm not a fan of traditional Thanksgiving food. It's like, yeah, why are there so few people on tonight? And then I realize, oh, wait a second. In Europe, it's just a day they call Thursday. Just regular old Thursday. My wife will be home, so we'll split the work. It's just the three of us, so it won't be turkey traditional. I'm not a fan of that stuff. I like the pumpkin pie and the stuffing, so. We're having Italian food. The offensive went well. These guys are going to eat Italian. We talked about spending the day doing Christmas decorations. We may do that as well. Well, not today. Won't be today, but this weekend. There's a good chance of that happening. It's today? Okay, I've been told Christmas is today. But not like, the day after Halloween. Like, the hell's wrong with people? Like, if you're going to start Christmas the day after Halloween, then you need to put Thanksgiving before Halloween. It's a good thing I don't talk shit about my wife, because this would be the wrong house to do it in. Right, honey? That you or your mom?
It's me. Mom. Santa, what? Did you ask me something?
I said, it's a good thing I don't talk shit about you, because this would be the wrong house to do it in.
Absolutely, you're the tough one.
I don't talk shit about you anyways. Love you. Oh, man. Yeah, this room is great, but it's got like a barn door between this and the rest of the house. So if we had people over like for like a party or something like that, yeah, you wouldn't be able to. You'd hear it. You'd know what the playlist was. No 1 hour, no 11-hour sessions for you. That's right. I was surprised. I was surprised how quick that day went by. That's the only problem about this hobby is it goes way too fast. Like, all right, I can enjoy the day working on my models. I'm like, where'd my day go? You know, it's like, this is like a good hobby. Like if you've got like a life sentence in like a prison, like you're gonna spend the rest of your life here. You know, or you know you're eligible for parole in 35 years. All right, well, give me some models. I'll be done in no time. Yeah, your prison sentence, they bring you models, but then it would be something like Atlantis or some Lindbergh models, models that just make you just want to just hate life, you know, just something that's just nothing but problems. I think today's going to be like the warmest day of the whole week. It's supposed to be a rainy day, but it's supposed to get like 0.04 of an inch or whatever. Like, so you want to use inches, but then you want to decimalize it. Like, you know, which way do you want it? You need me? Okay, hold on one second. Don't be a penar. It's gonna be a saying. Of course, I haven't gotten to the point to find out if he ends up redeeming himself, but man, he's got a lot to redeem himself if he's gonna redeem himself. That guy sucked. Definitely not a team player. So then we're going to switch to, we're going to put the red on here. Then we should be able to leave this and come and start doing some black lining on here. Is red still alive over here? Barely. And there's still some things that are kind of a mystery to me. You know, on Crusader, like I'd like to know what kind of armored cars were in the 11th Hussars or the 4th South African thing, and you know I could probably make educated guesses, but I've heard mixed things that they did have the Humbers in already, and you know, the kind of detail that some of us are looking at as wargamers just isn't available in narrative sometimes. You have to kind of just take educated guesses. Look at photos. Hope the photos are actually marked for the right engagement. There's always suspect. Be like, oh, here's a vehicle with such and such a battle. I'm like, you sure that's where it was? Now let me put my glasses and stuff away from it. Yeah, I don't want the front of the fenders. That's a bit too much. Do I want the front and back of the turret? I don't think I want the back of the turret either. I think I'm good with that for now. You can always come back and say, you know, it's just not enough color. Let me go ahead and add it. You know, you can always do that. I don't want to have to repaint the base color over it. Which, you know, you could do that as well, but no point in creating, you know, work for yourself. Humber is a cool looking vehicle. It is an extremely attractive vehicle. It's an extremely attractive vehicle. The Daimler's not bad looking either, but the Humber was more common than the Daimler. And the Daimler didn't come out. The Daimler came out a little later. And the Daimler came out, you know, I mean, it still came out in the desert. And it still came out before Alamein, but still a little later. And I don't think the Daimler, the one we traditionally think of, Daimler, I don't know, probably Daimler. Daimler. Probably does not appear before they're armed with 2-pounders. So if you think it's kind of weird, like an armored car is armed with the same armament that a main battle tank is. You know, it is only a 2-pounder, but that's what the tanks were armed with as well. But the Humbers are definitely cool. And I'm always surprised how it looks like it's got a cannon on it, but it's just a 15 millimeter. Which is, you know, kind of a cannon, but extremely heavy machine gun. And autocannon. Is it autocannon a cannon? You know, they made a big deal out of, I think I was reading something, or making a big deal of how well armed the German armored cars were. And I'm sitting there thinking, but they only have a 20 millimeter cannon. But I think when they mentioned it, the British just had machine guns or a boys anti-tank rifle. So yeah, compared to machine guns or a boys anti-tank rifle, yeah, a 20 millimeter autocannon is a lot better. There we go. That's what we needed. We needed to do the full color. It's looking a little lackluster. Remember, we're going to weather over this, so it's going to become a little drab. There we go. And some of the later armored cars I think are really unattractive. It's mainly due to the turret. Those Staghounds have an ugly turret. My opinion. You might like them. I don't. I'm not going to apologize for it. They look like they belong on an American tank. And they may have been. They look like the tank, look like the barrel, they look like the turret on the Locust. Okay, that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Now the question is where are the names of these things going to go? There's not enough space here to name it. I'm thinking maybe back here. We got to give them some identifying markings. So. Let's make some good progress on this, and let's do some black lighting. of that. What does mean none oil? Null oil. Nope, not into the Staghound look. AEC also looks unfinished, but the Humbers are really cute. Alright, let's move this off to the side. This is like rivet hell. You got any of the Plastic Soldier Company A9s? And it's really annoying that in 15mm, they come with an option to build an A10 for them as well. But because we build the one true scale, we're punished and they don't make it. There we go. That's what that needed. The darkness in the recess. No A9s. Okay. This thing is so light. Yep. This is going to get us where we need to go. And the markings I'm going to put on the turret on here won't go over a rivet, so it's not hurting anything doing this now. Well, if you don't like doing rivets, make sure you do late war tanks. Do late war vehicles. Imagine if there were bolts instead of rivets. You go around, okay, I gotta make sure everything's tightened up before we go. Yeah, that would get old. Like I came across an article of somebody the other day had bought some. They had bought some Mark Sixes from S model, and they were using all this thin stuff to like add stuff to it. I'm like, man, I thought those things were good to go. They were really tinkering with them. Like, I guess there's a level of enjoyment of doing that, but if you're making one display model, I get that. But if you're making a unit of like 4 to 6 of them, like that's just painful. And it was some significant changes. And I like to move around the outside of the tank, so I don't feel like I'm writing sentences, like I'm being punished doing this. believe it or not, I don't mind this phase at all. But it's certainly not quick. But now that I think about it, I've encountered something like that, maybe not to this extreme, but issues like that on every single plastic soldier company thing that I have. There's always options and they don't fully document which one you should take. I think there's more rivets on the turret of this thing than there are on the rest of the tank. But they make it look interesting. There's no doubt about that. Now, I don't know how I'm going to drill an antenna into this. I guess I should probably figure that out before I get too far along. We do need an antenna hole in this thing. That makes a huge difference, not for me. Giving them an antenna. This out of the way so we don't have a situation. That's too big. There's nothing in between those two. That one. putting a whole lot of pressure on it. See how deep we've gone. We can go deeper than that. We're gonna leave that like that. Barrel's drilled out. The barrel's cast that way. That's where you can tell the detail on some of these 3D printed so good. Is you look at these cannons. These cannons have the end is hollow. I mean, it might only be in for like half of a millimeter, but still, there's the ability to put that kind of detail on these things. Now, boy, is some of the detail in the pans are too. The tracks in particular are amazing, yeah. I just don't want to put an order in yet. I don't want to, like that stuff could arrive, and I'm like, I don't want to get diluted anymore. And their time will come. And Nazi bastards will just have to wait. You got to work tomorrow, Marcus? Or you have the day off? We've only worked We've only worked one Friday after Thanksgiving. It was 1995. And the reason we worked that day is 'cause somebody dropped the ball, making something. Customer got angry, and we needed to jump through a flaming hoop to do it. We forgot to put something in production. And I'll never forget. That's the only time I haven't had a 4-day weekend on that weekend. But it's not usually a holiday that I travel for. I have traveled for it before, but it's definitely the exception. Yep, working tomorrow. The morning will be slow though, so I'll probably paint a bit. Well, we'll be on. That's the plan, anyways. I'm gonna go ahead and drop some of that in there because it's just like glaring at me, that bright color that I drilled out. Now, once this turret is done with this, which shouldn't be too much longer, I'm probably going to, add the other stainings on the turret. I've been enjoying using the other colors as well. Man, there's a metric ton of these rivets here. I don't know if I want to build another one of these. It's taking forever. It's going to look great, but man, it's taking a long time. Yeah, I could cut corners. I don't want to cut corners. I don't want to cut corners. That's not how I roll. there's so much left to do on it, and we just touched on the turret. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up, when we're done, we're gonna take that pale sand, and this stuff right here, get it almost all the way off the brush and just go over the top of it. So we'll hit some of those rivets. Anybody else here? 3 quiet ones. Okay, that looks a little better. Make these details pop. I'm getting pretty darn hungry. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and actually grab something to eat. So that will conclude this morning session of this. So it doesn't seem like I got a lot done, but I got a lot done. Yeah, it's gonna look good, and it's gonna look good. Hide behind the tank using it for cover. All right, folks. Thanks for stopping by, and